Everybody, cold wind just blew through. I was feeling kind of warm and now I just got a little chilly. No hat today, first time in a long time. So, another midweek chat. It is, what is it? It's March 3rd, 4th. It's March 6th. I feel like March 6th is somebody's birthday I know or something. I can't quite put my finger on what is March 6th. But so, welcome. We have good news. Hey, the olive oils arrived from Bethlehem, and another package is coming. I swang by the office on the way here, and I was hoping DHL had delivered the other package from Bethlehem. I think there's two, maybe there's three coming. But so as we got some olive oil, we had a demand. People were disappointed at Christmas time. We ran out of olive oil so quickly. I realize that's gift-giving season, so the demand might not be so great now. But I think we'll just maybe get every 4 months or so, we'll just get a case or two of olive oil from Bethlehem. And it's good stuff. This is the liter bottle, and liter bottles are $40. And let's see, I guess I could take this out. I took the other one out. Easy to tie up again. Sometimes people ask, they say, well, can we just get the olive oil? I don't need the flat, the woolen sheath. Thing is, this goes to benefit people with intellectual disabilities. They have a community there in Bethlehem where they have like a day workshop. And I volunteered there a lot when I was on sabbatical 4 years ago. And it is a lovely community, and they need our support. And what they do, they don't make the olive oil, people with intellectual disabilities. They make these, though. They make the woolen sheaths. So they'll sit kind of at a table where some people without those disabilities make the felted wool, and then they'll kind of rub the felted wool into olive oil soap, soap that's made like with olive oil, and then they kind of it compresses. It takes the wool and makes it a dense felt, and so it's nice. And some people really like it, and they can use it for other things. But that's why we don't sell just the oil, because it's a piece of this community of love and life and joy and inclusion of people with disabilities who make these woolen sheets. So anyway, the larger ones are in a plastic bottle, and they're a full liter, and it's by, you can see the Arabic on there. Here it is. I love to see that pattern. I have a pillow. It's one of my favorite pieces of art that I brought back when I was in the Holy Land, was a pillowcase with these designs on them. And then good Jackie got me a pillow at a thrift shop that I could stuff in the pillowcase, and it's on my couch now. And anyway, it's a real distinctive type of Palestinian art. What do they call it? Embroidery, maybe? That kind of, needlework. And you can see the Arabic script. And so it goes to help support the economy there in Bethlehem, and especially this community and we have different colors. I pulled this one out of here. So this is three. So what is this? I think this is a half liter. So this is a full liter, and this is a half liter, and $30. It's in a glass bottle. It actually costs more, probably because it's in a glass bottle. But and if you get there early, you can decide whether you want a darker felt or a lighter felt. Anyway, I'm not really trying to hawk these hard. We're gonna have about 24 of them, so if people want them, that'd be great. But I'm excited that they arrived. Sometimes they get held up at customs. Hey, do you know where I am? While we were talking about Bethlehem, though, so I was gonna post it on Facebook. Maybe I should. Last Friday, an article appeared about that the Catholic Parish in Gaza City, Holy Family. I've alluded to. I think I mentioned it at the Christmas masses, and they're hurting. And it's not so much that they don't have money. I wish I could say, give us some money and then we'll send it to them and everything will be okay. But it's just with the blockades, and we know that we've heard the food being parachuted into Gaza by the U.S. because it's not being allowed to easily pass into the country. They said, this letter that came out Thursday, they said nobody's starving to death now, but in another week, if things don't change, we're going to face real severe problems like that. So I hope they get some of those MREs that we've been trying to drop over there, meals ready to eat. It's funny, MREs, my buddy Mark, we'd go camping, and that wasn't even when we were camping. His dad was in, I think, the Korean War, or maybe in the Army after the Korean War, I think. But he was a paratrooper, 82nd Airborne. It's kind of a famous. And because of the military background, he had different things, and he had MREs. From way back then, I think we opened what they call hardtack. It's like a kind of a dense saltine. And I remember after school, we'd go down to Mark's basement and we used a can opener, a Swiss Army knife to open up this tin can that had this hardtack cracker in it. I think, it's a long time ago now, but maybe it was in a pouch. Might have been in one of those airtight pouches, but I think that would not have been from the 50s. I think the 50s stuff was in. Anyway, my point is that we had these MREs from his dad from being in the military, and then maybe he got some more recent times. But they're in the brown bag, and that's what people in the Army would eat. And I always thought it was kind of cool, And now here I am 50 years later, and I haven't thought about MREs in a long time. And here they are. That's what we're being dropped into Gaza to try to save lives, just to keep people alive because they don't have food. I guess there's famine all the time somewhere in the world. Africa's always having famine, but kind of places that maybe we're more familiar with, we're in the news a lot, and it just seems like it is preventable. People, if they don't eat, they don't get food, they're going to die. And we're trying to get those MREs over there. It's not just kind of a fun after-school snack. It's what keeps someone. It's a difference between life and death for some people, So something to take to heart, huh? So I am at the Eau Claire Horseshoe Club, Horseshoe Pits. Do they call them pits? Kind of see. I don't know if you can see. And I'm looking at the signs there. I think it's been a while, but in 1987, there's two big signs. 1987 World Horseshoe Tournament, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And below that, World Horseshoe Tournament, 2003. I don't know if there's other signs or if the World Championships have been here twice. But I remember I came here right after moving to Eau Claire, and I thought, well, this is cool because I have some horseshoes and I'd pound them in the backyard and just in the grass, And actually at St. Joe's, this guy, was it Rick who made them? They actually made a horseshoe pit for me. It was really, really nice with sand and, wooden thing. So, and then I moved so that I didn't get to use them that much. But I thought, oh, they have these here. I can use these anytime. I didn't realize it's a private club. It's like a country club for horseshoe players. But Ellie's a member. And once I tried to say, hey, we'll have a parish bike ride, and first Sunday of June, anybody wants to, let's have a horseshoe night at the, I don't know if I didn't advertise it right or nobody expressed interest. Because Ellie said she would do it. She says, I have a key, I'm a member, I can get you guys at the horseshoe pits. So, missed opportunity, what can I say? But these horseshoe pits are unlike any that I've seen. You can't tell now, but they have these black mats. There's the backstop, you can see the backstops, and there's a like a car mat sort of thing over the pits. And if you peel them back, it's clay. It's gray clay. So if you're tumbling a horseshoe at it and it lands, it'll like stick inside the clay. You might go into the clay that much. I did play with Ralph here once before I knew it was illegal. I made a good time. You have to be a little better. You can't just like hop them on because they just sort of stick into the clay. You got to just nail it. Am I really good at horseshoes? I am not. But so I was a little, cool. I was walking back from the grocery store festival that's in our neighborhood, and the Brommer boys were all playing basketball in their driveway, the three of them, not the littlest one, but he came out later. Now this is great. I love shooting baskets, so I got this basket and I take some pride that I used to be a really good shooter, so I thought, anyway, so I'm starting to take these shots, and I'm like 0 for 15. It's like an embarrassment. I was like, I wanted to show these boys that their priest can make some baskets. And I was short, and then I was like, what? And I think what's going on is I've been playing basketball with the school children a little bit, and the rim there is 8 feet. Well, the rim at the driveway, of course, was 10 feet exact, because they're serious about their basketball there. And I think that was it. I don't know, was that it? Maybe I'm just weak, I don't know. But anyway, it's a little embarrassing. I have a lot of pride with that. I get upset, I feel bad for 2 days if I miss a waste paper going into the waste paper basket and I'm off to the right. I'm like, oh, I should be better than that. But fragile egos, you know. But so I'm not great at horseshoes either, but it's fun. I love playing horseshoes. It's like the purest game, you know. Nothing wrong with cornhole, beanbags, but everybody does that now. You don't see a lot of horseshoes anymore. Okay. Should we call that the rambling section of the chat? Hopefully, if you didn't like that, you could fast forward. Just some work things. So I see I have 2 voicemails on my phone. We got new phones. I cannot access the voicemail on one phone that has a voicemail. One's from myself, but I got another one, and I'm a little worried that someone left a voicemail for me that I can't hear. So hopefully it wasn't anything emergency. We'll get all that sorted out. We're having a lot of technology changes at the office this year. Most of it's going okay. It's a little bit of a struggle. Old dogs, new tricks, you know how that saying goes. Stations of the Resurrection, we are waiting for some place that Nick and Christine have been working together to. We had those around church just under the Stations of the Cross, kind of laminated scenes of the Stations of the Resurrection. If you've never heard of them, we'll hear about them more when Easter season rolls around. But it's like 14 moments after the resurrection of Christ, just like the Stations of the Cross are 14 moments at Jesus on his way to Calvary and laid in the tomb. Like Jesus meets Mary in the garden, Thomas touches the wounds of Christ. Those would be 2 examples of Stations of the Resurrection. Anyway, we're going to get some better ones. We had a nice, beautiful offer from someone in the parish who thought that the laminated ones were getting curly and kind of ratty looking, and we don't want that in our church, right? So she said, hey, I'll pay to get some other ones and frame them. So everything's set except we don't have the thing. There were 2 stations that were low resolution, and we called them and said, oh, we're going to work on that. We'll get higher resolution ones for you. But we have not heard back. We were really hoping we could get it done by Easter, and here it is. You know, sometimes Easter seems half a lifetime away, and then before you know it, what is it, 3 weeks away now? So, wow. But sometime we'll get these new Stations of the Resurrection up. The school prays the stations, so with or without the new stations, we'll pray those with the school community. Easter Vigil, speaking of Easter Vigil, the initial communication, I don't know why. Sometimes you see a decision that was made and you think, that's a silly decision. Who made that? And they say, well, you did. Like, why would I do? But apparently we decided a while ago that the Easter Vigil Saturday night would be at 7:45. Seems like an odd time. So we're going to do it at 8. So just note that. That's the big ceremony where we bless a new Paschal Easter candle. We will baptize Caitlin. We will welcome into full community in the church 4 others. And so it's a big liturgy. It's about 2.5 hour long liturgy. We'll start it at 8. Okay. By the way, Holy Thursday at 7, and Mass Lord's Supper, and 1 o'clock Good Friday. Feast for the Fast, I made the reservations, so I don't know. We'll have to decide on the economics if we're going to charge $10 or $5. We've been charging $5, but it gets a little expensive if like 80 people come. But it's nice to be able to offer a nice, great all-you-can-eat buffet to the parishioners for $5. I think the regular cost is like 14 or 15. So anyway, I'd hate to diminish numbers, but maybe just economically it makes sense. We'll see. But anyway, we're reserved. I called the Pizza Ranch. I said, can you get us room for 75 at your restaurant at 5 o'clock on Holy Thursday? And they said, you bet. So that's good. And we'll use script, so we'll get some money for the parish and for the Regis Catholic Schools in so doing, and hopefully a good night of community. It's really been nice. I know sometimes people get there and it's not really well organized, and Ellen gave me a deck of cards. She said when people come in, you can give them a card and then they have to sit at that table. It'd be ideal if we had more mingling, rather than, and I don't think people come thinking we're just going to eat by ourselves, like a family, say there's a family of 4, and they come in and they end up, and it's just them at a table, a family of 4. So it's just like they're going out. Where, the idea, of course, is it's kind of a parish event. So to get people, rubbing shoulders a little bit and getting to know new people would be the point, right? So I get how that would not happen. Doesn't always happen. So anyway, we'll work on that. Book club insights. Oh, I don't know. We had a good book club meeting last night. I didn't get to read it and do it was a kind of a book where you'd read a couple paragraphs and then it would say, now take 20 minutes to take a walk and notice this and this and take a few pictures. I had a lot of spiritual exercises and I wasn't prepared for that. I thought I could just kind of run through and read it, And I felt like maybe the other people were like me. Thank heavens they're not. They actually did it. And they did the exercises and they enjoyed them. And they said the book was one of the most impactful books that they've read as far as actually changing them a little bit, drawing them closer, a felt relationship with Christ more. Boy, I think so I felt I thought I was apologetic about choosing the book because I didn't think people were going to get through it, but a lot of them did, and it was time well spent, so I'm so glad. And nobody said they're going to throw that book away. They return to it again and again each Lent. It was called A Different Kind of Fast by a woman whose last name is Paintner, if you're interested. The next one, we're pretty set on, I think it'll be, I was going to bring it to flash a picture of it, but what's it called? First Belong to God. First Belong to God. Subtitle, A Retreat with Pope Francis. Austin Ivory. He's a British guy who follows Francis, and so it's based on the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius, who is all the Jesuits' founder, including Pope Francis, who's a Jesuit, and I think it's going to be good. So we got a really nice book club. We got a man besides myself who's been coming too. So Gary, nice going. So we doubled our numbers. We could double them again if 2 more guys show up in May. So. Yeah, it's a group of about, 10 to 12. 2 people zoomed in, Jackie and Mary from New York. It's always good to have her. She's coming in June, she said, so I can't wait with Peter. I think overall that book just gave people a sense of a contemplative space, like they'd say, do this breathing exercise. You'd read some scripture, a story of Jesus, and you'd say, well, take this breath and breathe in mercy of God, breathe out any fear or something like that. Actually, the Ash Wednesday breathing exercise was breath is life, so he said, breathe in your offer that God gives you to live. He's given you life. Breathe in the life God gives you. And this is breathe out, like surrender, like prepare that you won't live forever, to sort of confront the fact that you will die someday. And let go of life. Breathe in life, let go of life. I was kind of taken aback by that exercise. It was a little intense, but it was good, it's meaningful. I liked it. So I did do some of the exercises. I just didn't get through all 6 weeks. Time change this weekend? Holy smokes. It's the worst day of the year. Lose an hour. Yeah, so does that mean so watch for the 8 o'clock mass attendance to be low. Prove me wrong, I dare you. Because on our bodies we'll say it's 7 a.m., not 8 a.m., because we spring our clocks forward, right? So and then next week, a week from tomorrow, this is Wednesday the 6th, so on, would it be the 16th then? 9 plus 6 plus 14th, it'd be the 14th. We'll have a communal examination of conscience. Just a night to kind of think about our lives, name sin in our lives, have a desire to repent and have new beginnings. And we're doing it on Thursday because on Friday and Saturday, priests will converge on Immaculate Conception Parish, and they'll be hearing, including myself, confessions in shifts, but there'll always be a couple priests per shift. Was that a woodpecker? I love that sound. Maybe it'll come back. I know Saturday it's from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I believe Friday it's from 1 p.m. till 11 p.m. Does that add up to 18? I think so. It's 18 hours for the Lord, we're calling it. So, an opportunity to experience the sacrament of reconciliation. It'll be, just find a priest at one of his stations. And there'll be ongoing prayer going on. I think some meditative music. The Blessed Sacrament will be on exposition of the Blessed Sacrament. So you can pray in front of the Eucharist during that time as well. So it's a big thing throughout the Eau Claire Deanery. Good. So I made ham today. I was going to make it on Ash Wednesday, but our staff meetings used to always be at 10. Now they're more often at 1:30. So it's not as easy to end with lunch because it's not eat time if you meet at 1:30. But so Ash Wednesday was going to be at 10. I thought, we can have ham then, but can't have ham on Ash Wednesday. So we had it today. My brother gave me this big ham, an 8-pounder, and I guess it was cooked, so we didn't have, but it had to have thawed out. It was taking up half the space in the freezer. So I found a way to thaw it more quickly, half-hour shifts of adding new water to it submerged in it because it was wrapped in plastic, so it was good. Turned out great. The only problem was I thought we'd have this big full staff meeting, and we woke up, one email was like, and this is nobody's at fault here. It's just disappointing personally because I like them. I like them to be part of our thing. And one of the staff was sick. One of the staff misscheduled something and couldn't come. And the other staff was out of town. It's just like one after another. I just heard, they're not coming. I'm like, oh. And, it all works out. We got a great staff. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's really crackerjack. But I did identify briefly, that story that the king prepares, not that I think I'm the king. Only Elvis is the king. But he prepares a feast, and he invites all these people to come to his feast, and they don't come. And he gets really mad that they don't come. This is a parable Jesus told. And he says, go tell them again to come. The feast is ready, and they don't come. And he's like, come on, I got the ham. Come. And so I didn't do this. I don't feel like we had time, but maybe I should have. I could have called all the neighbors. We got this ham. He said, well, the ones who are invited aren't worthy to come. So let go out to the byroads and make everybody come in to the feast. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Going door to door. Got a ham on the table if you want to come and eat ham. Would I have the courage to do that? I think I might. It'd be kind of a quirky thing to do. But didn't do it. So just the 4 of us ate ham until we turned pink. And no, we had some, but we're going to save it for next week when the rest of the staff's there and have brie ham sandwiches on baguette, because Danielle mentioned baguette when she was talking about the school kids today. I don't know, I saw a couple news items today that I thought were good. This is in the category of should go without saying, but there was a headline that the Vatican came out with a statement that said children born of mothers who aren't married should not be denied the sacraments. I'm like, duh. Like, what? I mean, we've never done that. But apparently in some places in the world, they take this situation as an occasion of shaming the person. If you're not married, you can't baptize your children and your child. And I will say, sometimes people haven't gone through the channels to have their marriage recognized in the church, and it can be a nice opportunity. It's like, well, let's just tie these things up and do a little marriage prep and fill out some forms. And you should want to, I think, if you want to have your child baptized, want to have your marriage in good standing with the church. It's not always a lot of work. Sometimes it's a little hairy, but anyway. But this basic thing, apparently, a lot of places in the world, a woman will come to knock on the door and says, "I'm a single mom. I'd like to have my child baptized," and they say no. I'm like, ooh. So I don't know. I'm preaching to the choir here. It's never been It's never been something I've ever heard happen in our part of the world. Anyway, Wilton Gregory, who I met a few times. By 1 year, I missed him being my teacher. There's two priests that were at my seminary, Mundelein Seminary in Chicago, who, if I'd gone a year earlier, I would have known them as like a teacher. One is Wilton Gregory, who is now the Cardinal Archbishop of Washington, D.C. He was a Chicago priest, and then he became Bishop of Belleville, Illinois, and then I think he went to Atlanta, and then he went to Washington, D.C. And he's a really sharp guy. And he was being interviewed. He was at Georgetown University, and he was just talking about, what was the name of it? If you want to, it's an hour session. It's called, you could just YouTube Wilton Gregory Listening Church. And he just talked about how we got to be a listening church, and we're at such a place in our society where people don't listen to each other, and the church really needs to be a leader. And he praised Francis for being the synodality. Remember that word, where we can sit down and talk about issues and not worry about being judged when we're talking. Shouldn't it be that way always? But it's just not. And he said, I had a couple nice little quotes. He said, "Don't enter a conversation with a conclusion. If you already have this conclusion in your mind, don't even enter a conversation, because you'll be rude." And he says, "Before I condemn you, let me try to understand you," which I thought was kind of funny, actually. Like, just let me wait to condemn you. Let me understand you first. The implication, of course, is if I understand you, I'll be more understanding, and I'll be slower to condemn, We have to learn how to focus on the issue and not the person. I really think with a lot of things, just take Biden and Trump. I just think if you took quotes and you didn't know who was saying them or their position on a certain, obviously they have different positions, and some of them fit more like a Republican or Democratic philosophy. But I just think I think we wouldn't necessarily know. I'd say, I think Trump said that, and it's actually Biden, or I think Biden said it was actually Trump. On an issue like, I don't know. But if you put a face on it, it's sort of a prejudge. Well, I'm not going to like that. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to try to focus on the issue, not the person, and we can practice that. We need to practice that. He mentioned too, he was the president of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops in 2002 for a term, and that's when the clergy sex abuse scandal was peaking and most scandalous, and a lot of people fled from the church. And he was a good leader at that time, I think. Sympathetic to victim stories and trying to establish new procedures to protect children and to have just procedures, not just cover-ups for people that abused. And anyway, he said something that was very interesting. He said, when I was there, I had to go visit the Pope, John Paul II at the time, and I told him everything. I told him everything that was going on, which to me seems obvious, but apparently he was getting pressure. He says, don't tell John Paul II that it'll be the end of your career. And he said, well, I'd rather be at the end of my career than it be the end of the church. So I thought, well, good for you, Wilton Gregory. He was good. He was a good racquetball guy. All these guys who are just 1 year ahead of me used to play racquetball with them. The other guy that I would have had as a teacher is Bishop Barron. Everybody 1 year older than me had him for class. He's such a famous guy now. But he said, I thought this was pretty interesting. Bishop Gregory, he said, in the midst of the sex abuse scandal, I loved the church and the people of God more than ever. He said, I know some people have caused them to leave the church. I said, I love the church more than ever. And he said, if I could say this, it'd be like I'm a husband, like a good husband. You never love your wife more than when she needs you. You could say the same, like a good wife never loves her husband more than when he needs her. And I thought, that's lovely. So maybe just leave on that kind of lovely idea that we never love someone as much as when they need us. If we're following the way of Jesus, I guess. Huh? So, okay, well, I hope you get a ringer in life. Here we are from the Horseshoe Courts. God bless you, everybody, as we get ready just a couple weeks now to Holy Week, right? God bless you.